In episode 7, after making a wish and kind of lying to Quiet, John feels really bad about it. He's being eaten up by guilt. He actually confides in Axel, of all people, and Axel just makes fun of him. He can't believe that John is beating himself up over the fact that he lied to his girlfriend. But their conversation ends when Quiet ends up showing up. John is overly nice, overly excited. It's something that Quiet notices, but she can't figure out exactly why he's like this, and he just chalks it up to the excitement of the tournament. He's gone so far as to come up with a nickname for the team, Quan. You know, you mix Quiet and John. Yeah, Quiet's not about it. I don't think anyone's about that. But everyone is working on their cars. That includes Mayhem, who is trying to work on hers, but because she's small and she's not as strong with her upper body, she can't lift guns. Quiet and John see her struggling, but they remind themselves she's on her own. We're not helping her. Most of the other competitors, though, start getting a conversation about their wish that they made. Axel's not giving his wish. He feels like it's a birthday situation where if you say it, it doesn't come true. Whereas you've got Frostbite, who wishes to feel warm again. The Preacher Men want the end of the world and the rise of their baby preacher. Dave told the group that he didn't even care about a wish because he's already living the dream, so he let Mike do it, and while Mike was about to announce his wish, Vermin just jumped in and said, "My wish is for the bugs to rule the world." Chucky Flute wished for the ability to fly, and then it comes to John and Quiet. And Quiet tells the group, "My wish is for all the walls to come down," and that is surprising to everybody. They figured she might wish for one wall, but no, she wants all of them. And Raven, obviously the head of one of those cities, starts saying how dumb that is. They get into a back and forth about why it's not dumb, why the walls should come down, Raven defending the walls. And then Calypso shows up, and everybody shuts up. He announces that the first leg of the Twisted Metal tournament is going to involve 12 cars, but there's only 8 passes to get out of the playing field. They're hidden throughout the area, they'll be marked with red smoke, and if you try to leave without one, you're going to end up getting killed. There is one team, though, that is getting a sizable advantage from the competition, and that is Quiet and John because they finished last in the previous round. So in order to spice things up, he's giving them the advantage of a 1-minute head start and a device that shows them where all of the passes are located. For John, he thinks this will be cake. I mean, they're getting a 1-minute head start, and they know where everything is located. Yeah, this is going to be pretty easy for him. I mean, after all, he is one of the best milkmen in the world. However, his whole mood changes when Quiet pulls out Krista's doll mask, and he can't unsee it. He can't stop staring at it. Not only the fact that he's reminded that his sister's no longer there, but he's reminded about the wish that he made behind Quiet's back. So when their minute actually starts, he is so flustered that he actually has to pull over at one point and tell Quiet, "You got to drive." And he doesn't do a really good job of explaining why she has to drive. But they're quickly wasting time. And it turns out that John is a better driver than a navigator. He's a really bad navigator. And that minute goes up pretty quickly. Next thing you know, they see red smoke in the sky and they realize our 1 minute is up and we don't have a pass. But they continue searching using that radar. As for the rest of the field, well, once the race actually started for them, they hightailed it looking for that red smoke. For Mayhem, she was chased down by Axel, who was all over her back. So for the moment, she stops thinking about the pass and starts thinking about surviving. Eventually, though, her vehicle does end up crashing. Luckily for her, though, it crashes in a location where there's red smoke. So she knows all she has to do is walk into the warehouse and find it. But when she does, she finds out she's not the only one there. Chucky Floop is there. And he's already got the pass. And he's really only there because he wanted to get in some action with somebody else, and he's more than happy to get into it with Mayhem. These two haven't really gotten along since the tournament started. Mayhem tells him that she's leaving with that pass, and boy, does she. Because while they get in a hand-to-hand combat, it ends when Mayhem kicks him out of the warehouse and Chucky falls on top of her car and dies. But when that happens and Mayhem sees what she's done, she's spooked. Because Chucky was the first person she had ever killed. And she doesn't exactly handle it all that well. I mean, she's just absolutely shook by it. But now that she has a pass, she needs to get the hell out of there before somebody else does to her what she just did to Chucky. The issue is her car is now destroyed. The good news is she just steals Chucky's. She grabs his keys, she hops in, and it turns out that Chucky's car is kind of like Kit from Knight Rider. I mean, imagine driving around with an Alexa or a Siri, because that's what his car is. It's a Tesla on steroids. And at first, it's really annoying to Mayhem because she just wants to get out of there. But then she notices the advantages of having this car. The feature's named as Quattro, and its biggest advantage might be the fact that it gets Quiet out of there really, really fast without danger, because it knows maps. And by the time they cross the finish line safely, Quiet has really, really warmed up to Quattro and this new vehicle. But crossing the finish line is a pipe dream right now for John and Quiet. The first place they headed was a warehouse that they thought would be off the beaten path. They thought that most of the competition wouldn't go to it, but they found out wrong. Because when they arrive at this warehouse, they find the pass, but it's in the middle of an ice rink. And they're not the only ones there. You've got the Preacher Men, you've got Sweet Tooth, and you've got Raven. And all four groups start trying to crawl on the ice to get to the pass. Initially, Quiet did grab it. She threw it to John, but John ended up slipping. He threw it to Sweet Tooth, and Sweet Tooth ends up getting that pass. As Sweet Tooth and Stu headed for their checkpoint exit, they were greeted by Mr. Grimm, who didn't have a pass. But thanks to the opening in Sweet Tooth's truck, he literally just hopped in with his bike and had them drive him over the finish line. So he ended up surviving. And boy, does that anger Sweet Tooth to no end. The next stop for Quiet and John, though, wasn't successful either. And now the passes are quickly dwindling. There's only one pass left, and when Quiet and John go to that warehouse, they find out that they are second to get there. The Preacher Men are first. This causes John and Quiet to go into desperation mode. John starts firing off shots as Quiet runs to grab the pass from the one Preacher Man who's holding it. Quiet and that Preacher start getting into a fight, and John, wanting to put an end to it, goes to grab the boomerang missile, but he ends up getting it stolen from him. And the Preacher Men grab it and take off. As they're driving away, John and Quiet get in a roadkill. They drive after him, but the Preacher Men's car is just too fast for him. And the Preacher Men would easily be able to cross the finish line until one of them turns to the baby and says, "What do you want us to do?" And he says, "Kill them." And that changes everything. Because instead of going for the finish line, they start going for the kill. And the way they do that is using those boomerang missiles. But then they find out that they're holding boomerang missiles. They didn't know this at the time. They just stole it from John. And unfortunately, that missile ends up coming inches from killing Roadkill and John and Quiet, and ends up flipping around, Uno reverse style, and crashing into them. A couple seconds later, John and Quiet come upon the wreckage. They're really just worried about the pass, and they are shocked to find that the baby is fine. The baby's actually holding the pass. And when John goes to grab the pass from the baby, he can't, because it's like this baby has a Viking-like death grip on it. So they end up having to take the child with them and cross the finish line. They're the last group to do so. When everybody gets back to the garage and they start working on their cars, John and Quiet end up handing the baby over to Calypso. They can't take care of a kid, and Calypso, he seems like he's got it covered, and he seems like he's actually excited about the idea of taking care of a child. Before he leaves, though, he does warn them that they should enjoy this moment, but they better get their act together because things are only going to get harder. As he leaves, Mayhem comes over because she wants to talk to Quiet. She needs to confide in somebody about what happened with Chucky, about losing her kill virginity, if you will, and that's exactly how the conversation between Mayhem and Quiet goes down. You would think that Mayhem was talking about losing her virginity, when in reality she was talking about her first kill. But through talking with Quiet, Mayhem does feel better about the situation, because she needs to talk to somebody. And Quiet's been the closest thing to a friend she's had. After this conversation, though, Quiet ends up going into the room and finding John and filling John in on what was going on with Mayhem. But she can still tell that there's something going on with John, and she asks him point blank, "Is it me? Is it us? Like, what is up with you?" He tells her, "No, it's me. I mean, I'm really sorry for everything that happened today about being clumsy and messing everything up, but no, what's been bothering me is the fact that I lied to you. I made my own wish." And Quiet is dumbfounded. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.